starting with Marv.
Marv Raven, Newport Township.
Al Westerman, Benton Township.
Jerry Stimson, Grant Township.
Carol Zerba, Lakeville Township.
Eddie Hockney, Antioch Township.
John Rindle, Fremont Township.
And I'm George Bell from Libertyville Township. Please stand for the pledge.
But we're not that good.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone. Again, we're here this evening for the continuance of application 3746, which is a request to rezone property from the State District to General Commercial, and application 4756, which is a request for a conditional use permit for planned unit development. I want to make this comment before we get started. Before we continue the objector's cases, what we've been through is the applicant has presented their case. The board has questioned them. The public has questioned them, and we closed the questioning of the applicant. Since then, we've had Village of North Barrington presented their case. Hawthorne Woods has not presented a case. They've requested that they will make their presentation during the public comments. Acres has presented most of their case. We have one witness that left early. One of the board members wanted to question. I think there was just one. And so we will, I think North Barrington, you have one witness to go. It was going to take about 30 minutes. So that's where we're going to start. However, before we get to that, I'd like to make these comments. Before we continue the objector organization presentations, I would like to thank ACRE for its very thorough objector presentation last Tuesday. The presentation involved testimony from 5 individuals, both local residents and others with experience in land use, real estate law, and other areas of expertise. Their presentation covered the following areas: the size and scope of the proposed development, both the applicants and the mayor's and local county board members' proposals, compatibility of the project with surrounding land uses, availability of public sewer and water to the project, level of service on surrounding roads and intersections, other transportation compatibility issues, the amount of detail in the application and site plan, increase in crime, and the burden on the local law enforcement, village and the county comprehensive plans, the 1999, 2002 Hawthorne Woods North Barrington IGA, the commercial real estate market, the issue of spot zoning, the cell factors and the UDL rezoning standards, building height, FAR and floor area ratio, and the effect of the project on surrounding property values, the applicant's real estate comparison report by Clarion, the range of uses allowed in the county general commercial zone, landscape buffering along the project's property lines, reliance of local home buyers on the property's current zoning, testimony about different commercial development categories or classifications. Altogether, ACRE's presentation lasted almost 2 hours and was followed by extensive questions and answers to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Between the testimony offered in that presentation and the numerous public comments received the previous week's hearing, the board has gotten a good deal of information regarding the range of the public's concerns about the project. By that same token, I have heard from members of the public and from the acre presentation itself that this public hearing process is extensive and has been a real time commitment for the people who have been consistently attending these hearings thus far. Out of respect for the public and the board's time, I will be encouraging any remaining objective presentations to stick to new issues and topics not already covered and addressed in the acre presentation and in prior public comment. I will be discouraging any repetitive, duplicative comments from the remaining presenters. In the interest of time, the ZBA rules call for a maximum time limit of 30 minutes, and we've been lenient on that. However, I really want to try and hold the objectives presentations to 30 minutes as we can and have them present new information. We granted extensive additional time to acre this past Tuesday. However, if the testimony becomes repetitive and duplicative within an objector's presentation's initial 30-minute limit, I will not be inclined to allow an extension beyond that. So for any additional presenters, out of the respect for all of our time, please bear in mind the time limit and the ground that has already been covered. Mr. Hunt, you're at the podium.
I am, sir. As I mentioned before we got started, I wanted to make an additional point for the record by way of clarification. I know we moved exhibits into evidence last time. I wanted to make sure that the record reflected that we were moving into evidence the PowerPoints that were used during our presentation, as well as by way of clarification and supplementation, there were some materials that had been inadvertently omitted out of our original 3 binders. I've submitted to you additional exhibits labeled as acre exhibits or objector exhibits 27 and 28 here this evening. They were the remainder of the materials that were part of the original discussion that related to the prior Taubman submissions and testimony surrounding that. So we'd ask that those be entered into the record as well.
All right, thank you. We'll accept them as evident.
Thank you.
All right, is there anybody here who has not been sworn in? Nobody? Good. Somebody not sworn in?
Sworn in. Nobody's sworn in.
All right. What I'd like to start with is the completion of North Barrington's presentation. You had one remaining witness